Welcome to Quick Shot, the video game fact show for you to watch whilst you reminisce about the good times with one of your favourite platforming heroes, Spyro. Now when you think of Spyro, you probably think of the charming character design, the bright colours and some of the best 3D platforming of the 32-bit era. What you probably don't think of is the side-scrolling gameplay, detailed pixel art and one of the best action systems ever found in a handheld title. This isn't the Spyro game that you remember, but it definitely should be. Today, we look back at one of the last and best releases for the Game Boy Advance, The Legend of Spyro the Eternal Night. This particular entry in the Spyro series was released in 2007 for a variety of consoles. The PlayStation 2 and Wii received 3D games in the same vein as the original 32-bit titles. The Nintendo DS also received a 3D version, though that one had some wicked draw distance issues. And finally, there is the Game Boy Advance version, which was a total different 2D game, and this is obviously the one that we're going to be looking at today. The first thing that hits you about the game is clearly the lush pixel art. The Spyro franchise is a wonderful canvas to paint on, with the characters and colourful palette immediately bringing the vibe of a Saturday morning cartoon show to the game. The background environments are lush and deep due to the fantastic use of parallax scrolling. The forest is an excellent example of this, where Spyro darts in and out of caves and under the forest canopy. The change in scenery is highlighted by the multiple shifting layers of parallax in the background. The sprites themselves are an absolute joy to look at, with fantastic animations that really bring out the character in everyone from individual bad guys to Spyro himself. This is important since it brings things to the most important and unexpected element of the game, and that is the combat. Now, the combat system involves stringing together individual attacks into varied combos both on the ground and in the air. It encourages constant movement and awareness of the space around your character. Does it remind you of anything? Well, yep, that's right. Spyro on the Game Boy Advance follows a similar framework to some of the best character action games of all time, like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta and Ninja Gaiden, but in 2D. There is even a training room where you can develop and practice your combos. The combat in Spyro is remarkably fluid and satisfying, with a wide variety of moves available and responsive controls to help you pull off combo strings with a high degree of accuracy. It's very unusual to see a combat system this advanced in a 2D game, and doubly so when you think about the limited range of controls available on the Game Boy Advance compared to the other home consoles. It hits the right balance of accessibility, but with a high ceiling available to players who learn the wrinkles of the combat system. Things really start to open up when you use your newly earned elemental powers to extend your combos even further. Keeping your combos going adds to the meter on the screen, causing more gems to fall from defeated enemies. It's a good risk and reward system that encourages the player to get creative with their attacks. And whilst the combat feels like a 2D incarnation of Devil May Cry, the pacing and flow of the game is reminiscent of a slightly more linear Metroid/Castlevania title. Levels are expansive and often require vertical movement and exploration. Enemies start out as little more than training dummies, but as you progress you will need to learn how to exploit their weaknesses. For example, the spike turtles that you encourage in the Fire Shrine take a massive beating if you attack them head on. But if you use your air launcher to flip them over first, then you will be able to finish them off quickly with a well-timed airdrop. The game itself isn't actually that long, and you'll probably only take about 6 hours to finish this one, but that's about what you would expect for a handheld title in the first place, am I right? The story roughly follows the same beat as the other versions of the game, with cutscenes interspersed throughout the gameplay to fill in the gaps. Spyro the Eternal Night came out in 2007. By this point, the Game Boy Advance was on the way out and was in the process of being replaced by the Nintendo DS. As such, the Game Boy Advance version of Spyro had a relatively low production run and never really got the public recognition that the game deserved. But if you are looking for one of the single best games ever released for Nintendo's awesome little handheld, then you should do your best to find yourself a copy of this game. It's really not a bad way to reintroduce yourself to Spyro before getting stuck into Spyro Reignited, because, well, that's probably retro now, isn't it? Yeah, I'm allowed to talk about that. Why not?